Okay, we have two crankshaft seals here. And you notice one says crankshaft rotation this way, so if we're looking at the rear, it's counterclockwise, so this would be the rear seal. This one says rotation this way, so if we flip it around, that's how that would go. These are very easy to mix up. If you don't install them correctly, what it'll actually do is corkscrew the oil out. There's a corkscrew design. As this turns, it actually screws oil back into the engine. This is also what we call a unitized seal. See how the center turns separate from the outside? What that does is that gives us a nice new wear surface here on the crankshaft every time. This one doesn't have a spring in it that you can see. There's one built in inside, but basically we need a installer that's going to push here and here so that it pushes it on evenly. These are really important. If you don't have the right tools, don't be installing the front of the rear main seal. Okay, here's our rear main seal installer tool. There's 12-point bolts that go in here. These aren't correct. The seal tool will actually come over this and hang up, so you got to make sure you got the right bolts in it. There's a hole in the back, and that's got to go in that pin, because this flywheel is pinned to top dead center. If you don't have that on there correctly, well, you won't get the flywheel on, for one. But the other thing, if you took that pin out or something, it would put the engine out of time, which obviously would be a bad thing. Okay, so we're going to run these in. That's the hub tool. Basically, it's the same size as the crankshaft. And this works on lots of different 3406 Cat engines anyways, C15s. C13's got a little different seal design. I'm going to tighten them up and then I'm going to back them off about a 1/16 to an 1/8 of a turn. That allows it to move just a little bit if it needs to. And here's our seal it's going to go on next. Here's the seal installation tool. You can see that it fits tight here and it's also pushing out here, so that's the right tool for the job. So we're going to go ahead and slip our seal on here. Going to put our seal tool. We have this nut. There's a bunch of anti-seize on that. You can see, but that helps center it in the hole. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to run this down. Maybe not quite till it stops. Most of them, if you have the right tool, it will basically set the right depth and everything. If you had a worn out housing or crankshaft, you could actually set it back or forward a little bit if you needed to. But anyways, there's a part number on here. If you look in the service manual, it tells you exactly what tool to use to get it the right depth. Okay, basically we're going to run this in. The seal's installed. This is where the anti-seize comes into play, because there's no bearing on this tool like the 60 series tool, and a lot of your other ones actually have a bearing on there to make it easier to turn. And that looks about right, so back it off and check. Kind of see how that nut helps center that hub. That looks like it's plenty far enough in there and there. Okay, and removal is basically the same as installation. I'll take it off, take the nuts out, put the nuts back in, and put the tool back together so we don't lose all the parts and pieces. So there, and then take